Go figure. The ghost of Ish Smith. 2 daggers in the last minute to propel the Denver Nuggets over the Phoenix Suns by a final score of 107-105. Season's over, folks. We've lost to the Nuggets in the preseason, Matthew. I don't know what else to do. Guess it's over.
I knew it. I knew it. As soon as I saw Ish, I'm like, oh, he's going to beat the Suns. That's what always happens, dude. This guy will either kill us in the box score or else, like, tonight, he's going to hit the dagger to win the game.
Twice. And they were 105-103, and then it was Ishmish.
We do that too. We could never say his name right.
Right. I was just like, damn, dude. Oh, well.
Yeah.
You know,
and
it's like Haws says, these third stringers are not it, I guess.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Suns Jam Session Podcast, a post-game podcast for the preseason. Only one more of these things to go. No, 2 more? No, 1 more. The Kings on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, that's it.
God, I can't wait for the preseason to be over.
That's why I was watching the Chiefs and Raiders game. I'm like, I can't wait for this game.
I didn't even watch that because I was so like I was writing a piece for Brightside about Jae Crowder and the Hawks, which we'll talk about at the back end of this podcast.
Yeah.
I was taking notes on this game. It felt nice to take notes again. Did you take notes on this game?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it felt nice to take notes again while watching the game, making observations, hanging out, and.
I'll be honest, it's okay. I'm so used to doing it now. I feel like even if I didn't do the pod, I'd be taking notes. You know?
I think I do it instead of posting every thought on Twitter, right? Like I'm like, oh, that fucking sucked. But normally, you know, like I could be posting that on Twitter as the game goes on, but I'm like, that's annoying for everybody, so I'm not going to do that. So yeah, it felt fun taking notes again, you know. But the preseason, it's one of those things that's like. What's the best way to describe it? I can't think of like how would you describe the preseason?
A waste of time. It's just like, you know, the NFL has it right where they have it 3 games and the starters don't play. I mean, I know you want to get into shape, but come on, man. You don't have to. I guess if you want to win 64 games again, I guess you want to get into rhythm, but it took them 1 game to get in the rhythm. They look good. The starters look pretty good tonight. So I think it only took the 1 game. So you sacrifice the preseason and just start the season. There's no reason for it.
Well, like as a fan, I look at it like a Tuesday night at Marley's, right? Where it's trivia night and it's you and a member of your team, like you and me on trivia night. And we're sitting there, we're debating back and forth on what the answer is. And finally we're like, fuck it. And we write down an answer and we submit our answers. And now, you know, because like that's how it is in the preseason. We sit there and we have what we think are the answers to what we're observing. And we have these predictions on what the season's going to be. And like we said, fuck it, this is what it's going to be. And we've put it down and we've handed it off that piece of paper. And now we're just waiting for the season to start because that's when our answers start to see whether we're right or wrong. So that's where, like from a fan's perspective, that's where I'm at. I'm just like, we're stuck in limbo right now. And I really wish that we could just get to the starting line. But, you know, patience is a virtue, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and then the first game's against Dallas, so it's like win or lose. Either way, we won't be happy because it's not going to mean anything. So,
yes,
correct. Here we go. Here we go.
All of the above is correct. Well, again, welcome to the Suns Jam Session Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you're watching along live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, or if you're listening to this podcast at a later time or date, we appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day to hang out with a couple of guys who just want to talk about preseason basketball. Yeah. Preseason basketball.
Well, we don't want to, but we're paid to be here. So.
We're obligated by contract. Okay. If you're watching along on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate it. It helps with the analytics. Let everybody knows we're the best post-game podcast on Planet Orange. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. Do what Landell Bobando did recently. Left us a 5-star review. And left the review that said, just the best. I first became aware of this pod when John and Matthew joined the Solar Panel guys for post-game pods during the finals runs. I haven't missed a pod since. The combination of analysis and entertainment is chef's kiss. I laugh, I cry, I wait on every word with bated breath and anticipation. It's so good to feel something again. These guys aren't your standard analysis robots. They're true passionate fans that love the game of basketball, especially when the Phoenix Suns are playing it. Crack open a cold one and go home and love your family. Thank you for that, Lando Bobando. We appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a great review.
Yeah.
So, well,
Love
I
it.
guess that means, Matthew, you're going to be cracking open a cold one, huh?
I am. Yeah. Here
What do you got?
I got
Oh,
this thing and this little thing where you
I'm about
hook
to
it on
blow
the
your mind,
side.
bro. You ready
Oh
to have
no,
your
you got
mind blown?
CBD. What do you
No.
got? What
So
do you got?
I want to give a shout out to Nate, who's my Southern wine and spirits rep. He won. Hold on, let me grab this. He won this little decanter set. It's a basketball that you can open up and fill with the spirit of your choice, right? And I'm his biggest basketball fan buddy. So it's this little basketball that I filled with Jameson because Jameson's simply the best. And it comes with 4 rocks glasses
Oh,
that have little basketballs on the bottom.
cute.
How
Look at
dope-
that.
how
How
dope are
cute
these
is
things?
that?
So I've got
So you
me.
got to smash it then, right?
I've got me an ice cold Jameson on the rocks tonight to cheers with all these Suns fans as we commiserate in our misery as we talk about this loss to the Denver Nuggets in the preseason. I don't know what we're going to do, but cheers, folks. Yes. It was a loss by the Phoenix Suns to the Denver Nuggets in a preseason game that, as we all know, it really, it's I guess as the Rock would say, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, it brings me to the first segment of the show.
Matthew, I got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask, is there anything you took away from this game of substance?
No, it was the one thing was, of course, Ayton. A little bit of that, the inconsistency between the first game to the last game to this game. That's the one thing, and we'll get into it later, but that's definitely one thing. The other thing is this bench. I don't know. The injuries already. I was thinking about Cameron Johnson the whole time. I don't know if that's a weird thing, but during the game, I thought about him like maybe 10 times, and I was just kind of upset. I'm like, where the fuck is this guy? He's probably out to the. So I just kept thinking about the depth of this team. I kept thinking about Jae Crowder. I kept thinking about everything else, but other than what was going on during the game. Of course, Ayton. I got to think about him because he takes up most of my notes page. But other than that, I was like, this team's kind of gelling. They look kind of good on the first team. The third quarter, to start the third quarter, when they started to pull away, I was like, okay, like this is all I got to see. The 2 minutes where they started pulling away, DA looked good offensively and defensively. I was like, that's all I got to see. Sit them, and that was it. I mean, they played a little bit longer, but that part was like, okay, this is the Suns from last year, the last 2 years. They look good.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there in that.
That was a lot.
I wanted to see.
That was all over the place.
Well, I mean, that's
my mind,
you got to, when you watch these preseasons and games, you have to identify what you're going to take away and what you're going to take away that's of substance. And I think that you hit a couple things on the head there. The first thing I'm going to start with is that the first team offense, even though Tori Craig was part of that first team offense, it felt more fluid. It felt like they were a little bit more in game shape, as we talked about on the last podcast against the Lakers. That's all the preseason is really good for, is just trying to get yourself into game shape. So by the time you hit that first game, you're conditioned enough to play the appropriate minutes and finish a game off. And in doing so, they're at that point where they're starting to look a little bit more fluid. Chris Paul, is initiate the offense with a little bit more fluidity. Devin Booker looks good. DeAndre Ayton looked really, really good. Mikal Bridges looked really good, especially in that first quarter where he went, I think 3 for 4 and had 9 points to lead all scores for the Phoenix Suns. So I think that, those are the takeaways that you're trying to identify while you watch these preseason games, is how is this first team unit looking? Of course, all the eyes are on the second team unit. We'll go through a little bit of some of the things that we saw from there, because we said on the last podcast, it's the preseason and none of it matters. And at the end of the day, it doesn't. But at the same time, we're starting to get to that point now where it's like, okay, these minutes kind of do matter for the preseason team, or for the preseason bench team, because now they're starting to play together. And we got Josh Okogie tonight. And it's like, okay, now you're going to see a little bit more, a semblance of what this is going to be. But of course, there's no campaign, there's no Landry Shamet, There's no Dario Saric. I mean, it's preseason, so it's frustrating. But at the same time, like, you have to think to yourself, like, how many times do you have a full squad during the regular season? You really don't.
No, you don't. And then that's kind of like the scary thing, because some of these guys out there, I was like, I thought a little bit differently of them before they came and they joined the Suns. Like a Kogi, I was like, defensive guy. Offensively, he looked miserable. I don't know what he was doing out there. I mean, defensively, it wasn't that great either. He didn't really even seem to be very enthused to be out there. So that was like my takeaway of that guy. And then I just thought about the rest of the bench too. I know Shamet wasn't there, obviously. But there's like players like Saric that barely played. Did Saric play like a minute? I saw the ponytail.
No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Who else had the fucking ponytail?
He was not with the team, personal reasons.
Oh yeah.
Well,
okay.
Dwayne Washington was.
Yeah, but he's pretty awesome. I mean, 3 for 10, which isn't that good, but dude, he's like a sneaky kind of like hustle guy that every possession matters. Like, I love that from him. So between Washington Jr. and then Kogi, those are the two I wanted to see. I'm like,
Should we start off the pod by talking about Dwayne Washington?
Oh,
I'm not the one who just got butt fucked on national TV, Dwayne
Washington. There you go. The new Dwayne Washington.
Is that from Die Hard?
That's from Die Hard.
Okay. I've only seen the movie like once, so I know that's your movie, dude.
Yeah, that is my movie. Once again, for the people in the back.
I'm not the one who just got butt fucked on national TV, Dwayne
Washington. And I kind of think it's appropriate on this one because I didn't think Dwayne Washington played that well. As you mentioned, 19 minutes, 3 for 10 from the field. He had 10 points. He had 6 assists, so he definitely was distributing the ball, but he took some really, really bad shots. Like, bad. Like, we lost this game because Dwayne Washington was throwing up some bullshit. Now, he hit a 3 that got the Suns their final points. It got him up to 105. But it was after a horrible missed 3, a rebound. They passed it back out to him, and he hit that one. Right? He airballs the ball. And again, like, I did like to see that there was somebody who could play a little point guard. Like, he was initiating the offense. So I appreciate that about Dwayne Washington. But I'll tell you this, like, there's a reason that this guy is who he is and has been, not successful thus far in the NBA, playing with the Fort Wayne Pacer team last season, playing for his first opportunity to get some minutes with a high-quality team. But I'll tell you, I wasn't impressed. And again, preseason, I know, but I'm not even going to say that shit anymore.
Yeah.
You know what? I wasn't impressed with Dwayne Washington. I'll drink some whiskey to that.
He's just like a sneaky snake, kind of like a nasty kind of guy that comes out there. And yeah, he was playing in a way where it was just it was selfish a little bit. It was in a way where it was just really erratic,
Westbrookian.
If we want to throw that one out there, he was erratic. He was definitely a guy where you don't want to trust having the ball, but it was fun. Maybe because it was just preseason, but I just like that effort from him. I haven't watched him at all before, but it's just like, it's one of those things where I feel like this might be a guy that has a nastiness that won't ever play. But it's just like, you know what I mean? That's what I took away too from him. I'm just like, he's never going to play. But
exactly.
I enjoyed watching him out there. I did tonight. It was one of those games where it gets away.
He had moments.
Yeah, it gets away from these players out there, but they have fun and they're just trying to, like, the little alley-oop to Jock. That was cool. You know what I mean? Little plays here and there from them.
Yeah,
it was
on the one where Jock stole the ball and then like fed him and then
paused. Yeah, it was like a basketball. It was like NBA 2K where you just stay there and then you're okay. Double B.
Yeah, again, like, I get it. I get it. He's a two-way player. We're not going to see much of him. He does have the hustle. He does have the energy. That's what I like from the whole second team unit. Like, did we lose the game? Yeah, but I saw energy, and that's what I'm looking for, is like just energy, aggressiveness, people who are willing to take the shot. He definitely is willing to take a shot. He saw this as an opportunity to take shots, and he did. Like, Josh Okogie did the same thing, and I'm sorry, Jamsters, we do not have a drop yet for Josh Okogie because
that's fine.
I'll tell you this. I feel like he's somebody who's got to earn a drop. I want to see how he plays because I think we're going to see plenty of Josh Okogie this year. Right? Like, I don't know how much we're going to see of Dwayne Washington Jr., but Josh Okogie we're going to see plenty of. And I'm still, obviously this is his first preseason foray, first time we've seen him out there. He played 14 minutes. He's 1 of 4 from the field. He had a total of 3 points. Obviously, the big challenge with him, he had the 4 turnovers. Every time he touched the ball in offense, it was just like a turnover. So, we saw his defensive athleticism. I liked it when him and Damien Lee were out there. They were really pushing the guards. They were forcing them, to they're forcing them to the perimeter. They were cutting off the driving lanes. I like that. I like that he was rocking the headband, Matthew. I'm a huge fan of that. Anyone who rocks the headband, it's like him and Damien Lee, like the headband bros,
So you like the way it looks on him? I don't like the way it looks on him. I don't know why. I think his head is a little too narrow up top.
Gotcha.
I didn't like it. His hair is not. He doesn't have too much hair.
I just liked it because I saw him out there and I was like, oh, that's Josh Okogie. It's easy with the headband. He's wearing number 2, which is always weird. How many Phoenix Suns have worn the number 2?
Oh, I think it's only been maybe 25 of them, right?
No.
Why would you ask me
why
about jersey numbers?
Why wouldn't I?
I'm so bad.
You know
how bad I am.
Always the question.
Yeah, I know, and I never am prepared. Even if you give me 2 weeks to research a jersey number.
He is the 19th Sun to wear jersey number 2.
I was close.
Who were the last 2 to wear it?
It was
who wore it last year?
Your boy. Dude, I'm not good at jersey numbers. I'm serious.
Alfred Payton. That's correct. Alfred Payton. And the year
they'll
before that,
Joe Johnson.
That's right. Joe Johnson. The year before was Joe Johnson. That's correct. Oh, and Langston Galloway. So
I took Fabio here. Joe Johnson.
You took Fabio's advice. Thank you, Fabio. Matthew needed a lifeline. But again, I'm interested to see who Josh Okogie becomes because offensively, like I said, there's a lot left to be desired with this guy, and we knew that coming in. I literally wrote a piece for Brightside where I was calling him, very Alfred Payton-esque. He can't facilitate an offense, but he plays tough defense. He's very athletic, but he has the offensive skill set of an Alfred Payton, and I think that's something that we're going to have to come to grips with as the season progresses.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, shit, I wasn't ready. I thought you were going to have a moment.
I thought you were going to do a drop. We're getting into rhythm here. We're getting into the rhythm.
Damien Lee's new drop.
Let's see it.
Today I met this cat. He said his name was Damien. He thinks that we're a lot alike and wants to be my friend.
Was that from Die Hard 2?
No. You don't know
who is that? No, I mean, if I think for a second, maybe it's
round 2. I'll play it one more time for the people in
the back. Today I met this cat. He said his name was Damien. He thinks that we're a lot alike and wants to be my friend.
So that's what I'm gonna call him all year long. Is my friend.
Who is that?
DMX. K.0 got it. DMX, man. R.I.P. DMX. Yeah, That's off of his first album called Damien. It's a song called Damien that I used to love. But I liked what I saw from Damien Lee in this one.
Mm-hmm.
He had 22 minutes played. He was 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. He had 10 points as well, 3 rebounds. And I thought, Damien Lee is somebody who we are going to see a little bit more of. And I like what I saw from him. It's funny because I was watching the feed for the Denver Nuggets because obviously this wasn't televised in the Phoenix market for reasons nobody can answer or know, or a lot of people probably didn't care. But one of the things that they said is damn, does anybody who's from the Golden State Warriors not make threes? Chuckle.
Yeah. I saw that too. Yeah. And he actually had he had a, what did I say? Did I say I heard that?
You say I saw that. I'm like,
I saw and heard it. All right. So I had the caption on. So Lee, the nice Euro step in the second quarter, that was pretty awesome. Also good moves, but he keeps his nose into things. He's always just in there. He's always just into plays, trying to make a mess of things and just contest things, and he's a smaller dude, but he's just like that guy he's small, but he's a force, and he'll just make sure that everyone knows he's there defensively. But yeah, shooting the 3, the guy's right. That's something that can come off the bench, and he's going to get minutes this year. And we're all excited about this guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, I might be a Washington Junior fan more than this guy. Who knows? I feel like everyone hates Washington Junior, but me, I was a little excited to see him tonight.
They hate him.
Yeah, they just don't like him as much.
But there you go. That's correct.
It's a good pickup, man. He's one of those guys, of course, coming from the Golden State, the championship experience, whatever, if that even means anything. But I mean, he's going to help this team out on the bench, and I'm excited to see him this year.
Yeah, I am too. It's going to be interesting to see again how Monty Williams utilizes him. Like you said, we talked about a little bit on the last pod, kind of the fuck shit up guy, and I feel like he kind of is a little bit of a fuck shit up guy. Like you said, he likes to get his nose in there. He likes to kind of be aggressive, be physical, and then can shoot the 3 a little bit, play a little offense, do some Euro step. Very excited to see what Damien Lee brings to this team, and I thought that he had a really good game. Another guy, obviously, who had an interesting game. I want to hear your thoughts on this guy.
Jesus.
This is a nice limo.
Yes, it is. Now suck my
Jack Landell. I got to give a shout out to Coach Fallen Founder. He was on the Solar Panel podcast this weekend as a guest host, and they were talking about something. They were talking about the bench, and Zona was like, he had just written a piece for Brightside, really kind of breaking down the bench and a lot of the challenges that we have, and all of them are valid. And then they're like, so, Coach Fallen Founder, what do you think? He's like, well, suck my jock. He's like, I love Jock Landell. And I was like, yes, it's happening.
We're going to
make
rounds,
suck my jock happen.
Yeah.
We're going to do it, Jamsters. Help me out. Hashtag suck my jock.
You know what's going to happen in the playoffs? People will just wear jocks.
Oh,
and
yes,
just say,
to the
suck
games.
my jock on it.
And it's also going to be hot out.
Now
so it
we
makes
have to wear
sense.
Exactly. Now we're going to have to wear jocks to the game, dude.
Yeah. No, well, with great responsibility comes great jocks. But Jock Landell, 20 minutes. He was 4 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. He ended with only 10 points, had 6 rebounds, had an assist, a block shot. What did you see from Jock Landell?
Well, I also saw or heard on the broadcast where he was shooting threes, and they're just like, what is he doing shooting threes? Like, Jock does what he wants to do.
He was way off on him too.
He was, but he shoots threes, and we're going to have to deal with that. But I like how he just kind of does whatever he wants out there. But he does a little bit of everything tonight. Yeah, the effort was kind of not there. I feel like he's just the effort guy. If he's not putting in the effort, you won't see any kind of results. But there's a lot of good things he does do offensively and defensively for this team. It's gonna kind of sway up and down all season long. And a lot of these players off the bench, you just expect that. And this is one of them. And it'll be okay. We'll come on this podcast after multiple games throughout the year, probably every other game, be like, what happened to Jock? What's he doing? Should he even play? Should give him minutes? He'll play awesome the next game, but like, give him more minutes. He's gonna be that guy all season long. And I still enjoyed it. I mean, he was there till the end with Washington Jr. on the alley-oop. He wants to make sure that, especially tonight, he gives his team a chance to win. He's not going to make dumbheaded plays, but he's just the effort guy. And if he's off from 3, that's fine, but he's a 3-point shooter. He's going to shoot threes.
Yeah, I think that he's going to shoot those threes, and he doesn't need to always do that. I think he's trying to add that aspect to his game. You look at it like from a career standpoint, I think he's like a 32% 3-point shooter. So he's not somebody
I'm looking up right now.
Yeah, let me know what you find, because Dave King said on the Solar Panel podcast that he is a poor man's Frank Kaminsky. And I thought about it. I go, no. Well, yeah, I think that's right. And like as I was writing the article, it kind of worked itself out. I go, yeah, that's probably a really good definition. Maybe he's a rich man's Frank Kaminsky, but he's definitely along those lines of a Frank Kaminsky. Like he can rebound, doesn't have a great post-up game, but does have a good putback game. Can shoot the 3, probably shouldn't shoot the 3. He screens a lot better than Kaminsky does, I feel. And again, he's just going to be a fan favorite because of the fact that he puts his nose in there, and he's just he wants to be the fuck shit up guy. And I can appreciate that about Jock Landell. Again, this game, not the greatest game for him. Coming off the bench, had he been a little bit more productive or maybe taken a couple less threes, the team could have potentially won this make-believe game. But at the end of the day, I appreciate his effort, and I like the fact that he was willing to, put forth the effort. And again, that's what you take from the preseason. It's like, as long as these guys are engaged and energized, we've seen it in the past where it's just like, there's no talent whatsoever out there. Like Jock Landell, Damien Lee, even to a certain extent, Dwayne Washington Jr. Like there's definitely some talent on this team. We just got to see how it works in the confines of a regular season.
Yeah, and even with Jock shooting the 3, he only shot almost 2 per game, 32% or almost 33%. So yeah, it's something that he's trying to implement, but I don't mind it. I mean, if he's going to shoot it, just shoot it. And that's the thing with Frank too. I remember Frank used to be the guy where he was like, stop shooting threes, right? Saric was bad too, but Frank got to the point where we loved it because he would get hot. I don't know if Jock's going to be that guy. And when I first saw like he's a poor man's Frank, I kind of like Jock better, but we've only had such a small sample size.
Exactly.
So I better hold my tongue, dude. I better just keep it in my mouth and, wiggle it around.
Sure. Across your teeth, right? Back and forth. Like you just got your braces taken off.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. This isn't anything new for anyone who's listening, but if you're watching the pod.
The Saric smoke break.
Oh, dang, I thought he was naked, dude.
There's a brand new Sarge smoke break graphic for you all out there. Again, he didn't play tonight, but you know what? I still made I'm working on all the new drops for the season. We got to have everything crisp and looking good
Still hanging out, Circle
for
K.
next Wednesday. So you guys enjoyed that one. But there you go. He's still hanging out outside of your local Circle K. So one guy who got the start tonight, and I was again not impressed with, Tori Craig, who's no longer the juice.
Craig, I wouldn't feel comfortable lending you $200 without a job.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should have taken something from the
Friday
movie. Yeah,
there you go.
Eating up all the food in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Craig, I wouldn't trust him with $200, unless he had a job. Again, starting 19 minutes, he was 1 of 4 from the field, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. He had the 3 points, which was the one made 3. He had 3 personal fouls. He had 4 rebounds. Again, just not very effective. We know he's not going to be a first teamer. We know that in the absence of Cameron Johnson, it's going to be somebody else. And tonight it was Tori Craig. What did you think of like his slow-mo try to put a layup up and just gets fucking denied?
He does that all the time, I feel like.
Yeah.
He was who else does that? Cameron Payne did that a lot last year, where he would get to the rim and just throw it up there. He would get just rejected.
Just denied every time.
I'd never seen that from a player. I'm like, what are you doing? But Craig does that too. And it's kind of like, just don't do anything unless you're there for a lob. You're there by the basket wide open. Someone can hit you in stride. Or else if you're just running the floor and you can hit a quick 3, he can do that if he's open. But I prefer him just to stick with defense. He looks like a guy out there who's just like on his phone. He's just on his phone, like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like, oh, I got the ball. Or like, oh, I got to go do something to help my team.
He's the guy who like walks into a light post because he's looking down at his phone. He's that guy.
Yeah,
That's how you describe Tori Craig on offense.
Yeah, but the best way was always just he's the guy that's running to get your car. The valet. Yeah. Yep, there it is. The valet. That's what he reminds me of, because he just doesn't seem like he's paying attention too much. When he gets the ball, his spacing's just really bad. I don't know what he's doing offensively. So it's still really bad. And I don't know who else you would put there, because we loved Ish last year, and Ish didn't really play tonight at all. And he hasn't really looked.
Well, he did,
good.
and he looked bad.
Yeah,
Ish
but
Wainwright did not look good.
Minimal minutes where he just looked terrible. It was like, did he looked like he gained like 20 pounds too, like not in a good way.
All in the shoulders.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He had like he looked like James Harden out there almost.
Well,
from last year.
if Monty Williams has to make the choice between Tori Craig or Dario Saric, and again, Dario Saric was not available for this game, do you think he starts Dario Saric in an absence of Cam Johnson? Although, like, again, we don't know much about the thumb strain that Cam Johnson has, but my guess is he's fine. They're just going to rest it as much as they can in preparation for the regular season. But if we hit that speed bump in this season where Cameron Johnson can't play minutes, do you start Tori Craig knowing that he's an absolute zero on offense, and on defense, he's not as productive as well? Or do you go with Dario Saric, because you want to have a stronger starting 5, knowing that you're going to lose Dario Saric off the bench by putting him in the starting 5?
That's really tough. Honestly, I'd be interested to see what the Jamsters say, because I don't know. I mean, I like Sarge off the bench playing the 5, but he was playing the 4. So I bet you anything the season starts, we'll see Sarge. But before the season starts, there's going to be a trade. Jay's not going to be here, so that's going to fuck everything up. So who knows who's going to be involved? Sarge might be even involved. They might even throw in who knows? Like, I mean, of course, Jay's out of here, but it's just like there might be someone else that's taken out. We might get somebody back decent. But right now, it's just like, I don't know what you do, because it doesn't look good with them. It's like I said last time, I'm like, just start him, but start it like a 4 versus 5. Just have him out there, But even then, it's nasty with them out there. I don't feel good with them on the floor with the starting 5.
Yeah, and that's the question mark. I mean, it's a long season that lies ahead of us, and this is going to happen. I mean, Cam Johnson has been known to miss time in the past. We don't know truly how durable he's going to be. We know that the second team has a hard time scoring points. You don't have a true scorer, a shot creator on their own. You have Cameron Payne, who can create shots, but he's supposed to facilitate the offense. Landry Shamet, who can't create shots. He can a little bit, but he really can't. He's a spot-up shooter who doesn't always shoot well. Did in the last preseason game, and we hope for the best. The 3 is Tori Craig. The 4 is, maybe Jock Landell, maybe Dario Saric. the 5 is maybe Jock Landell, maybe Bismack Biyombo. That second team unit's really a challenge. So anytime we have any injuries and we have to take somebody from that second team unit and plug them into the first team unit, like last season, I think one of the things that made this team so great and was ultimately their downfall was their depth, correct? We would sit there and we would talk about guys, and we'd sit here and we'd dog on Elfrid Payton, and then we chuckle. We're like, ha, 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 ha. And that's our third string point guard. And that's our third string this. And that's we had a great third string team last year. We don't have that this year. You have Josh Okogie. You have Damien Lee, who we're excited about, those two players and what they could potentially bring, primarily on the defensive end, especially with Okogie. You have Dwayne Washington Jr., who you're just not sure about. You have these guys who you're just not sure about. We haven't really seen it. This preseason isn't giving us much of insight into that because, again, like it's preseason. There's guys out there playing who will get 0 minutes, and that's who they're playing against. So if you're like, oh, hey, great job, they had 10 points. Look at Damien Lee, Dwayne Washington Jr., Jock Landell. They all combined for 30 points off the bench. It's like, yeah, but they were also playing third teamers. Like, we just don't know yet. And again, that's why it feels like we're Marley's on a Tuesday trivia night, submitted our answers, and we're waiting to see if our answers are actually correct on how we're evaluating the team.
Yeah, first, you don't want me on trivia night at all because I don't pay attention and I probably won't know the answer. Unless it's like Disney.
All right,
unless it's like Disney stuff.
How many Suns have wore jersey number 2? Fuck! Math
How'd
every
you
time.
know
Like,
that 25?
I don't know. 25. Oh, you're like, oh yeah, 25. Really?
It was close. But the bench thing is it's interesting because I am thinking about it, and it's always such a mess going into every season because there's a lot of different pieces every season. I feel like for everybody's bench going into the year, so it's always just something that's always thrown up in the air. But then also I look at the starting unit and I'm just like, I still don't feel like I'm walking around here during the day in my apartment working from home. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'm very confident in this team. I said they look good in the third. They did, but it's just like, I don't know yet. Like, I got to see something. You know what I mean? I got to see this team step up in a way where Ayton and Cameron Johnson can be healthy and Mikal Bridges can be as dominant as he's looked at times in the preseason. And then Booker just the next level of nasty from him. I keep thinking about them more than the bench because I know the bench eventually might be something, but that's why I'm not interested in getting anybody for the bench like Frank Kaminsky back from the Hawks or something like that. I know we'll talk about it a little bit, but I don't know, dude. If we can just have guys that come in and play decent, that's fine. I'm just more worried about the starting unit going to the next level to actually be something in the West.
100%, but I think that the starting unit, like, they know what they got to do, and like that doesn't bother me because I think that, they've been there. They're experienced. They know what they got to do. They got to lock down and they understand what the expectations are for them. And I think that a lot of them, DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker, are all ready to take that next level. What concerns me is, again, the bench, because that's what can lose you games. That's what can tax that first team unit to the point where they're not as successful as they can be. And that's why I honestly think, like, Suns fans, we got to prepare for a dip in win total. Like, we won 64 games last year. Like, we lost 18? We lost 18 fucking games. Like, this year it's probably going to be 28 or 30, and that's just reality. And there's going to be some inconsistency because the starters are going to do great. The bench is going to come in. They're going to fuck it up. The starters are going to have to come back, try to dig themselves out of the hole. It might take too much energy, and they might lose some of those games. And that's just the reality of what this season is. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter until the very end, until we get to the playoffs, because that's when you can really start to hone in on exactly who's going to be productive and what's actually going to garner you a championship. But the journey that lies ahead of us is a frustrating one. And we have to prepare for that because, like, again, the reason we went 64-18 last year is because our depth was disgustingly good. We had a team that just continued fighting. Like, I look at the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are going to be the Phoenix Suns this year. They have a great starting unit, and I really like their backups. Bones Highland's a backup on this team. Bruce Brown is a backup on this team. Those are two guys, especially Bones Highland, who can create their own shot and who can make three-pointers and play great defense. So they've got these great 3-and-D wings that you look at them and you go, their top 7 is a quality top 7, where it's like, after our starting 5, like, who's our best player coming off the bench? Dario Saric?
I think of Saric. I do. I think Saric. But
that sucks.
It does suck. It's just, I don't know. Like, of course, this Nuggets team, the Suns they've always handled him, Jokic. And I just think a guy like Jokic is a guy that you're going to have to defeat in the playoffs, which the Suns have. But I'm looking at other dudes that they're going to have to go up against.
And I agree. Like, the playoffs is a different beast.
I know. Because
the regular season is going to be a trials and tribulations.
But how much will you care? How much will you care about?
I'll care night to night because you always want success, and you're going to sit there and you're going to.
Are we going to feel different? Because right now, I don't care about the regular season. I really don't. I want to see these guys individually play games where they go up against the Clippers if they're healthy and just destroy them. Last year, the Suns never really blew out anybody, right? Those games were always so close.
No, they blew the shit out
the
of
end.
people last year.
I have to go through the
Our point differential was disgusting last year. It was one of the best I've ever seen.
Are you sure? I swear those games were so close.
Take a look.
Okay.
I will care about the regular season because as the season progresses and the trials and tribulations that we face, like those would be the concerns when we hit the playoffs. Like when we get to the playoffs, it changes. It's a different beast. But at the same time, like we're gonna have a ton of question marks if we can't find a shot creator, if we can't find somebody who's consistently rebounding off the bench, which I don't think is going to be.
Oh yeah, we led the league in point differential.
I mean we were great last year. 2 years ago it was different. But that being said, like it's the regular season. I get that it doesn't matter in the fact that it's like as long as you get to the playoffs, that's all that matters, right? But it's how you get there. That going to the playoffs last year, how confident were we? Unbelievably confident because our team was fucking great. And then that's why it was such a letdown to lose the way that we did. This season, our team is not going to be fucking great. Like we'll talk about it in the upcoming week, right? Like we're going to go ahead and do our preseason jammies. We're going to do our Sun season preview. And I'll tell you right now, like when we look at the over-under, I might take the under on this team. And that's okay. Get to the playoffs is all that matters. But it's going to be frustrating as a Suns fan who watches night to night and talks with you night to night about what's working on this team and what's not. It's going to be a lot of what's not when we talk about the bench. I think the starters are going to do fantastic. I think we're going to be like, fuck, man, we need Eric Gordon. We need somebody who can create a shot and consistently score off the bench. And unless Landry Shamet steps up and becomes that guy, becomes our sixth best player, becomes our sixth man of the year candidate, this team will have struggles for us. And that's just the way it goes. And that's normal.
Why haven't we gotten that guy like Clarkson though? Like why they know they need that guy off the bench.
I know.
Like we can't rely on someone to like, oh, let's go and have that great year again, like the great story year from Cameron Payne. We just need to know for sure we have something coming off the bench, like a Bogdanovich, which we're not gonna get. There's no way we're gonna get Jae for Bogdanovich. And plus, we'll talk about him a little bit. I keep doing that. I keep going to the Jae thing.
I know. I want to talk about Jae. Well, let's finish talking about this game. Obviously,
watch.
Matthew, I'm sure your notes page is littered with observations on DeAndre.
Yeah.
I'll start off with this before I hand it off to you. 27 minutes played tonight, 19 points, 11 rebounds, 9 of 12 from the field. Tell me what you saw from DeAndre Ayton.
Well, I think it was just that one play that kind of summed it up. And Michael Porter Jr. actually had like it was pretty bad. Like the shots he took, he's a guy that's going to force those shots because he's so much taller than everybody else, right? And he's clanking them all night long. But Ayton just taking him from, I think it was the start of the third quarter, where he takes him from the corner 3-point line and then Porter Jr. has it offensively. DeAndre Ayton there defensively. What are you going to do, huh? DeAndre Ayton's guarding the perimeter again. Here we go. This is the thing we always talked about until the playoffs, where it was kind of exposed, where it didn't even work. But he had him the whole time. He was on him the whole time, made him take a difficult shot. I think he basically blocked a shot. But I'm like, damn, that is fucking amazing. That is just an awesome play. But Ayton, of course, this is the thing where he plays so well. This is the same stuff we say last year, where it's quick decisions, just throwing it up there. It's the same moves as last year, but he's just really quick at releasing the ball. The mid-range looked really good. There's a lot he does well in the offensive end. There's even the one play where the Suns get the ball back after he misses it, but then he cuts down the lane. They hit him quickly there for an and one. And I was like, dude, that was awesome. Like, you're getting back, you're helping your teammates out. So it was a good night from him, man. I'm just excited to see if there's like something else that he really was working on, because a lot of it looks the same, right? There's nothing that sticks out like, oh shit, like he was hitting his shots, but it was just quick shots, quick decision shots. It wasn't anything crazy.
It was nice to see, I'll tell you that, especially after how disappointed I was with his performance against the Lakers. You know, this is the peaks and valleys of DeAndre Ayton, but I'll tell you, as Andrew Yang says in the chat, Paul to Ayton pass, perfect. Yeah. They looked great together. The pick and roll was working. There was a couple early passes that led to easy Ayton baskets, and it was nice to see that back in action. I really liked how he looked on both ends of the floor. As you mentioned, the defense he was playing on Michael Porter Jr. on the perimeter is one of the reasons that he is an elite center and has earned, you know, you want to talk about max contract moments. Well, you know, we'll talk about it when when he falls short of that expectation, but we'll praise it when he meets that expectation. Those are the kind of moments that meets that expectation. 9 of 12 from the field. You know, I mean, he had his midi going. He missed a couple shots, but you know what? I mean, he was 9 of 12 from the field. And there was a couple plays where they passed the ball down in. He dropped one dribble, and then he kind of went into a guy and then threw the ball up. I was like, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Is not just like, you know, get the ball, no back down, no dribbles, just pass out of it because a guy's in your way. Like, so we'll see as he progresses, but I 100% was a huge fan of what I saw from DeAndre Ayton tonight.
Yeah, and the reason we do that, it's so scary to see like a Wembanyama come out. And it's just like, dude, we got to win something before that guy comes out in the NBA. And before like Zion is actually healthy. Like, I'm just saying, like, these guys are freaking going to be nasty down there on the block. I mean, Wembanyama, his game's kind of outside. Inside, he kind of plays like an Alex Len, like around the basket, where he's just like doing like the little guard stuff.
He's like a Kevin Durant, but 7'5".
He's insane.
He's more of that kind.
Aiden just, love you, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And the funny thing was the announcers, the Denver announcers, who didn't do the worst job. I was actually okay watching it, but one of their quotes was they didn't want to give him the big contract, but they had to. And it was interesting to see how the rest of the league perceives Phoenix and the Ayton situation.
Yeah.
They didn't want to give it to him, but they had to. Do you think that's an accurate depiction or description of what occurred?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, this is a number 1 pick where we're still debating whether or not he deserves money. Like, deserves a max. We are. Like, this never happens. Either someone doesn't or they do. Like, either most of us can usually agree whether a player does or doesn't. From the outside looking in, it's like it's a good player. The way they talked about Ayton all game long was, this guy's a stud. He's so good from mid-range. That's his shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we don't think of that when we watch him. We don't. And we'll debate about this for forever until he actually steps up and does win us a championship. We'll talk about it for forever. So it's just the way it is. And I'm sorry, but
no, you're right.
No, I'm
you're
not.
Right. Yeah,
I'm not saying sorry this year about it.
No, I'm saying you are sorry. You're a sorry son of a bitch.
I'm sorry.
Couple other things that I noted in my notes. I love the transition foul rule, and I think that this is something that Chris Paul's going to master the shit out of this year. I love it in transition. If you foul a player, what happens? Okay, so you get one free throw shot from anyone on the team. So they could try to foul Ayton in transition to stop a fast break, and then they could put Devin Booker on the line, and then you get the ball back. And I absolutely love that. And again, I think it's something that Chris Paul is really going to take advantage of this year.
I like it too. The whole thing is like, okay, so you have to be going for the ball, you have to touch the ball or something. They should know whether or not it should be a foul, or there shouldn't be anything where they have to review anything or take time.
Yeah, well, it's new, so I think that they're trying to figure out exactly how to do it. But we all know, I mean, guys did it all last year, and it's there's gonna be some brain farts for the first quarter of the season where guys are doing that, and it's gonna be great because we're gonna get a lot of fast breaks. So, which member of the Phoenix Suns is gonna most benefit from this rule because they're gonna actually get to conduct a fast break?
This is gonna be tough because who runs fast breaks in Phoenix? Is it Booker who can't lob the pass, or
no? I think it's in a fast break, someone is going to end up dunking, right? Who's going to benefit most on the dunking end because we're going to actually be allowed to have a fast break occur?
That's a good question. I can't think of anybody.
Oh, I know exactly who.
I mean, who? Mikal?
No, man, it's your boy.
Lights, Cameron, action.
Dude, Cameron Johnson was born to posterize motherfuckers. He's going to be playing on the perimeter. Okay, and then there's going to be a steal by Mikal Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not going to transition foul him. Dude, we're going to see some savage throwdowns from Cameron Johnson this year. I guarantee. I'm calling at least 2 windmill dunks, wide open, just wah-wahs coming down. I think it's going to be really fun to watch the NBA in that.
Hey, if he can stay healthy. But yeah, Fabio says Dario. Yeah.
All right, Dario. Let's go, Dario. If he takes it down the court in the fast break, it's tough when you smoke a pack a day.
Yeah, they'll have time to put a trampoline out there for him too. Some padding.
Do you have any more notes on the Suns?
The only thing is the preseason the announcer in preseason mode calling DeAndre Jordan, DeAndre Ayton on the intros. Did you see that?
I didn't.
Oh, he announced he's all DeAndre Ayton. It was DeAndre Jordan, and he's like DeAndre Jordan, and then the jump ball within minutes of the game was so pathetic. I'm like, I've never seen a jump ball that quickly. I'm like, no, do I have to watch?
Yeah,
this
that's
game?
true. That's true. That's it. I have a couple notes on the Nuggets. Bones Highland looked good until he got injured. He's there, Mikal, and he's coming off
awesome.
the defense. That's so just note that. Again, the Nuggets, I think, are going to be really good this year.
Yeah, I always thought of him as like a baseball guy, not basketball. But
yeah, but I guess, that's what he's doing now.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
So there I was.
Sexy librarian.
There I was. My wife's glasses, I can't see shit. There I was, hanging out on the subreddit. Yeah, it's preseason. I'm still hanging out on those subreddits for you jamsters, so you can know what the opposition is saying on their subreddit. And here are some of the highlights. One Redditor said, I just want Tori back. You can fucking have him, dude. What do you want? Bag of Cheetos?
What? Yeah. What
How about a nice warm glass of ice cold jazz? Ice cold glass of John Jameson? Please. They want Tori back. They can fucking have him. 2 shooters in Brown and Bones. Bench has some serious potential. I concur with that. Mikal Bridges is the perfect 3 for the modern NBA. I'm so jealous. Yeah. Be jealous, motherfuckers. Bones from the Highlands. I like that. I thought that sounded cool. I actually tweeted something that said Bones from the Highlands. That's one hell of a Suns lineup, and they hit some hard shots. So they were giving us some props. This is a great one. Is the white guy from the Suns a Paul brother?
He does look like him, doesn't he?
He does. He looks like Jake and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
That's Jock Landell. It's Jock Paul. We can call him that.
Jock.
And then the last one, there was a foul that Tori Craig did. He says, Tori, that one's for Facu Campanzo, or whatever the fuck his name was. So
Wait, what's going on there?
There was a foul, and they're like, that one's for Facu Campanzo. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
I remember that guy too, yeah.
Jock Paul. That's fantastic. So there you go. Subreddit stakeout. It's never too early in the season to go ahead and go, you know what? Let's bring in some let's go see what the opposition's saying about the Phoenix Suns. So we got about 13 minutes left on the pod. I think it's time to talk about Jae Crowder.
It's Jae Crowder.
So Shams Charania today was talking about how there is a new front runner, if you will, in the Jae Crowder sweepstakes, and that is the Atlanta Hawks. How the Hawks have been linked to Jae Crowder. They're looking for a veteran presence to add to their big 3, which they consider Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, and John Collins. So when you first heard this, where'd your mind go? Did it go right to an NBA trade machine, Matthew?
No. I was actually excited that he'd be playing for the Hawks. I'm like, go ahead and go for it. Like, that's the one team I don't mind. It's in the East. It's a team that probably will under-succeed this year. This is a team we weren't really looking forward to them having a good year, I feel like, this year. If he can help that team get to like a Eastern Conference championship again, it's like, fuck, dude. You know what I mean? That would suck. But I don't see that happening. I don't think we're going to get anybody good back. And it's just like, if he wants to start, where the fuck is he going to start on the team? They already have their starters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what he's going to where he's going to start.
I guess the one guy who they could trade, which kind of makes sense, and it would take a spot, is DeAndre Hunter. You know, like, so, you know, preview of a piece. I have a whole thing coming out tomorrow on Bright Side of the Sun. Check it out tomorrow morning. If you like to read, if not, you can go to Brightside and you can literally click a little button that says play and it'll read the article to you, you lazy bastards. But DeAndre Hunter, you know, he's 6'8", 4th overall in the 2019 NBA draft. And he's a guy who they had an opportunity to provide with a rookie extension this past offseason, much akin to DeAndre Ayton, right? Last offseason, they could have given him the rookie extension. They chose not to. It would have been 5 years, $188 million. But this is a team that has Trae Young, they have John Collins, and they're going to have to start paying DeJounte Murray starting next year. That's when he's eligible for extension. So they're going to start to look to trim a little bit of that salary cap where they can, and it might be DeAndre Hunter who they potentially trade, because that'd be a straight-up trade. If they did Jae Crowder for DeAndre Hunter, Jae Crowder makes $10.1 million, DeAndre Hunter makes $9.8 million. It would be a one-for-one deal where he would go in there, he would get what he wants, he could start, he could be that veteran leadership that they want, and then the Phoenix Suns get Hunter. Now, the disadvantage of Hunter, you know, normally in his career, he's been very durable, but the past 2 seasons, he had a meniscus tear, and then he had a wrist issue that cost him 25 games last season. So, it'd be interesting to see if the Hawks are looking at Hunter as somebody who is they consider, quote unquote injury prone, it would make sense to get rid of him, right?
Yeah, but I don't see. That's why I don't really want him. There's no one that's really interesting except for the guys off the bench. Bogdanovich, like that would be awesome. There's a guy that we're not going to get, but it would be awesome to get him back. Justin Holiday is a name that everyone keeps throwing around, even on Twitter. So that's the most realistic thing. I'm to a point where it's just like, I'm just sick of hearing about Jae Crowder and this bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
well, that's why I want this. Like when I hear that he could be traded, I was like, sweet, can we get this over with?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't want to wake up one morning where it's done. And if we get nothing back, we get nothing back. That's just the way it always happens with the Suns team. I swear, I feel like anytime we get into a trade, we don't have any leverage. We're never there. And of course, Jae Crowder can do what the hell he wants. We can't even get Kevin Durant where he just wanted to come here. So that's what's frustrating. It's like, I don't want Jay anymore, obviously. And we have to grow up, take a piece of his toughness or whatever. Everyone grab a piece of his toughness going into next year and see if we can fill that void. If we have issues winning at all in the playoffs or in the season without Jae Crowder, then we got some big issues, dude. I know he brings that toughness or whatever, but we had to grow up. We had to continue without him, and we can fill the holes that he provided, the 1 for 9 games, and sometimes he can get hot, but it gets to a point where it's just like, I just want him out of here. And I hate that it's that way because
it is what it is though, right?
He's doing what but he wants to do what he can do to get more money, obviously, right? So that's the way I look at it, where I'm like, all right, he's just doing the best thing for him, and the Suns are doing the best thing for them, which is not getting anything back for a player that
doesn't
a lot of teams that want to, but teams that want to compete want this guy. It's like, dude, that's the worst teams to deal with.
Yeah, it sucks that Jae Crowder was a part of a team that went to the finals, and then as part of the team that won a franchise record 64 games, and he doesn't want to be a part of that team anymore. Like, that's the frustrating part for me. But on the same note, I'm with you. It's like, I want it to be over, and I don't care where he goes, as long as it's not like a Pacific Division or like to the Mavericks, like go and be happy, Jay. I do. Like, I hope the best for him because I love what he was for this team. I will always have respect for Jae Crowder and what he did for this team. When I hear the Hawks, I'm just like you. I'm like, sweet, Eastern Conference, good. Go there, be happy, whatever. And I just instantly, I did run to the trade machine and I did start plugging some things in. Cool. I'm trying to figure out different trades to make it happen because I want to get this thing over with. And that's kind of how I operate. So, the first one that I came up with, and we know it's not going to happen. And Gambo said it today, DeAndre Hunter, probably not going to happen. Bogdanovich, probably not going to happen. But if somehow, if we could take Jae Crowder and Landry Shamet and flip him for Bogdanovich, like, wouldn't that be nice, man? And I know that, like, I'm going to put the article out on fucking Brightside, and it's going to get retweeted in Atlanta circles, and everyone's going to trash me again because anytime I do anything trade related on fucking SB, I get, like, crucified upside down like I'm St. Paul or something. But at the same time, like, wouldn't that be a great fit? He literally, he's okay playing off the bench. He fills that need that Landry Shamet was supposed to be. He fills the offensive void that Cameron Johnson leaves by going to the first team unit. But it's too good to be true. So it's like I have to lower my expectations. And everybody's saying Justin Holiday. It's like that's probably what's going to end up happening. Is we're going to get Jae Crowder for fucking like Justin Holiday, and I guess we'll have to be okay with that, right?
Yeah, we have to be, and we can't have a dominant player coming off the bench, right?
No, yeah, we can't have a sixth man.
We just can't.
Can't have Leandro Barbosa anymore. The last trade I put together on Brightside is I said, okay, here's a 2-for-1. We give up Crowder, they give us Mo Harkless, who they received in a trade for Kevin Huerter from the Sacramento Kings, and Onyeka Okongwu from USC. I think that Okongwu's a beast, man. He's fantastic. But again, I think that he's young. He's another one of those guys. He's got a club option, and the team has until the 31st of October to fulfill that team option. If not, he will become a free agent. And I think that, they're a fan of his athleticism. I think we'll wait to see what happens with the Jae Crowder trade. And if Okongwu is not a part of that deal, then obviously they're going to extend him right away. So, or Mo Harkless and Justin Holiday, as Hey.0 says. I think that would be nice too. I just
want it to be
over.
so Harkless.
Why you gotta be so heartless? But when I think about the whole Jae Crowder situation, there's only one word that comes to mind. You know what that is?
Poop.
Fuck.
Oh, that's an oldie, dude.
That's the word. Oldie but a goodie. Hey, I'm busting out all the oldies. All the oldies.
It's an older drop. Not
it is one. It's one from like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So anything else you got on the Jae Crowder situation that you want to talk about?
No, I'm completely done with it. And it'd be nice maybe wasn't Frank Kaminsky was also, but I would love to have Frank, but then where would he play?
He doesn't make enough. I mean, that's why it's a 2-for-1 with him, because he just doesn't make enough. And where would he play? We have 2 Jock Landells. We have 2 Frank Kaminsky.
We have his replacement. It'd be so awkward.
I know it's like the Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like this is awkward. They have to share a locker. But it does suck because I know Jay's doing what he wants or what he can do for himself, but I hate that he can't. Like, why would a team want him if he's like, I want to be a starter? That's it. It's okay. So this might be an issue down the line during the regular season if you suck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why a team would really want that. Maybe that's why they're having such a hard time with it. Who knows?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, if you think about it, only a shitty team would take him on, and like even they're in asset building mode, so they're not going to give away assets so they can bring on a guy whose contract expires next season, right? I mean,
yeah, but Jay wouldn't want to go to one of those teams either, and that's the thing too is like the players get what they want unless you're Kevin Durant coming to the fucking Suns, you don't get what you want.
Shit. All right, well, let's see. We got a few minutes left.
Yes.
What do you mean? Yes. Like, are you excited to get off of here?
No. I'm excited for the next drop. I think I know what you're gonna do.
You have no idea what I'm gonna do.
Childhood trauma.
Childhood trauma. Is that what you got excited for?
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So you're so excited. What do you want to share?
I was trying to think of something 10 minutes ago because I thought we were gonna have time. I couldn't think of anything. So I mean, if anybody has any ideas in the chat, do you have anything? I can't think of anything, dude.
There's so much childhood trauma in here. I don't know where to begin, my friend.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so there was.
If you got any suggestions in the chat for childhood trauma, we what we need to do is start like tweeting out before the games, like, hey, if there's a childhood trauma segment, any thoughts or ideas on what we should talk about, and then everybody would be like,
no one would reply. Yeah, no one would reply like always. I do have like one switching schools. Changing schools is a big thing. I don't know if
that's
you did
a
that
good one. I did it a ton.
I went to I could tell you about the school. One of the schools I went to was a charter school, and I was in 4th grade, and it was a charter school that was it was a farm, but it was the most well put together farm. It was a smaller. There was probably like maybe like 60 students total, but it was one of those K through 12 ones where it's just like everyone's combined into one class basically. Yeah. And you manage a farm, but then there's like ducks dying. There's just like everything's just gross there. They have a horse.
So you're not taking like English. You're out there like milking cows.
We are, but you do it both, and it was pretty bad. And then later on, I guess a few years ago, we found out that the one of the guys, the actual husband, was molesting some of the kids, and he went to prison.
Man.
So, yeah.
Why did your parents put you in that? And where was this farm area? Like out in fucking South Chandler?
Yeah, it was in Chandler. Yeah, I went to a lot of different schools.
That's crazy.
My childhood was weird.
I can relate. So, 1st through 3rd grade, I went to St. John Baptist de La Salle, which is in Granada Hills, California. Right. So, born and raised in a Catholic family. And then my dad moved us out to Moore Park, California. Moore Park backwards is crap room. And he moved us out there so we could put us on. We had like 1.5 acres of land that we were renting. We had horses and we had chickens, and my dad raised pigeons, as I'm sure I've talked about on this podcast before. But the school that he put us into was called De Montfort Academy. And it was very similar to yours. It was a K through 12, but they had like 30 students there. And it was in like a house in Moore Park. Like, it was a house. So like in somebody's bedroom is like, oh, that's 3rd through 6th grade learning Latin. So we're all of a sudden like, like didn't have any Colty fields at all. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, is that Latin?
That was Latin.
Song?
Yes, that's
I
from
never knew
church.
that was Latin.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Latin.
I know the song and I sing it all. I didn't know I was speaking Latin.
Yeah, you're talking. I have no idea what it says. So yeah, so like from 3rd to 5th grade, I went to this school where it was just 30 kids, K through 12. I was in it was weird, and it was like super Catholic, like Baltimore Catechism, memorize the Bible type stuff. And I'm still kind of a normal kid because like I would play sports and stuff locally, but it was really weird. And then the principal, Greg Dillsaver, who was missing his half of his middle finger, it looked like that, right? He ended up marrying one of the students years later.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way it was back then, right?
It's fucking weird, man. Like, I'm like, Dad, what the fuck were you thinking taking us to this? Like, we were in a Catholic school with uniforms and all that stuff. And like, that's going to be weird unto itself. But like, to take us to like this super culty and like, Mom, how did you let Dad do that?
Yeah.
It's
Is that weird
nuts.
that his ring finger was
it was
smaller,
like
just like his bride?
It was like you could not look at it. Like,
yeah.
I
feel like everyone's always had a teacher with a missing finger.
Yeah, super weird. So interesting. We both come from backgrounds where we went to like these very weird K through 12 schools for a period of time. And now look at us. Now we podcast and talk about it.
Yeah.
It's full circle. It's full circle.
It's nuts. A lot of people, they just go to one school their whole life, the same district. But no, I was all over the place.
Not me, man. I was all over the place. My parents moved all the time. It's like I was in a military family, but I wasn't in a military family. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Childhood trauma. You hang out on a preseason podcast this long, you're going to hear some weird shit. So thank you for that. And thank you for watching and listening to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, click the thumbs up button down below. We truly appreciate it. If you're listening, leave a 5-star review like Lando Bobando did. And we'll read it right here on the pod. We're going to be coming to you live after the Kings game on Wednesday night. Until then, everyone, cheers. Enjoy your Jameson, my friends.
Go home and love your family.
Okay.